The book of Sirach was written 200 years before the birth of Christ, written by a wise man who was from Alexandria in Egypt. And he was seeing so clearly the philosophy of his time, which is much like I preached about yesterday, where people had gotten into a very hedonistic type of life. Live for pleasure, do what you want, be free, because tomorrow you die and it's all over. It was a philosophy of life that was just based on this world and no thought of the world to come. But the author of Sirach sees it differently. He sees that God created all things, as we read in the reading today in the beginning. Look at everything in creation. Who has done all this? But there is a God. In trying to convince people, we, like the parents today, many of whom wonder where they went wrong because they raised their children in the faith, but they're not practicing their faith. They've abandoned it. And the truth is, they're good young people, but they've been overcome by the philosophies of society and social life and culture. And it's been taken them in. It's difficult to, even for the best of young people, not to be taken in by it. We see so many young couples today, the majority coming to get married already live together. And when I talk to them, they just don't see why it's wrong. And they'll say to me after we discuss it, I'd do it again. They just don't grasp it. There's something missing. And it can be very frustrating. But when we turn to the gospel, here's this man whose son is terribly possessed by a demon. And reading it is kind of frightening to see what the young man was going through. And of course, Jesus cast the devil out, and his disciples asked, why couldn't we do the same thing? And Jesus' answer is what we need to hear today. This kind can only come out through prayer. Most often I encourage parents to just pray daily for your children. And the power of prayer, it's not the least we can do, it's the most we can do. And that's what Jesus is saying here, prayer. And so we need to pray for all the people who have abandoned their faith today. And through the power of prayer, we trust and hope that God will bring them back, because we know that he loves them and he loves us. And so today, as we continue to read in Sirach, we'll see how his ultimate philosophy is that death comes to everybody, even the Christian. But for the Christian, death does not have the final word. The souls of the just are in the hands of God. Let us stand and offer our prayers and petitions.